To shine a light on some of the great work being done by our team and the people we are working with across the healthcare system, we've decided to host an inclusive digital transformation week as a way of sharing some of our stories, learning, assets, and to hopefully propel the change that still needs to happen to make digital healthcare equitable. I'm joined today by our inclusive creative design lead, Tim Brazier. Tim and I initially worked together closely on the rebrand, as he can turn his hand to many things, but I'll ask him to introduce himself properly and tell us a little bit about how he came to Thrive by Design.
Hi, Rob. So I've known Thrive by Design, or Habitat as we were, for a number of years now. So back in, must have been 2015 or 2014, I was part of the team that designed and developed Mindwell, which is our mental health information site and service in Leeds. So I was very much aware of the team, of the work that they've been doing over the years, and grew to know them and kind of love the work that we've been doing over the years in focusing on improving health and social care, using digital as a way of doing that, and innovation as a way of doing that. And more recently, obviously since the turn of the pandemic, a real focus on health inequalities and trying to tackle those has been something that I've loved to see from afar. And then back in after the rebrand, as you mentioned, that we did last summer, I got the opportunity and was asked to join the team properly, which I kind of jumped at the opportunity really. So I've been here since September, and absolutely loving it. The team are incredible. The work that we're doing is so important at the moment. So yeah, really pleased to be part of the team.
And yeah, we're very pleased to have you. So funny that you touched on inequalities there. That kind of leads nicely into the next section. So lots of the themes out of the discussions this week have been around system working, aligning our work with ICS's and the potential that they have for tackling inequality. You've been leading on a project which involves 10 integrated care systems that's really shaping the path for inclusive digital transformation. Would you be able to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, of course. So that's the Digital Inequality Pioneers programme that we're facilitating, which was commissioned by NHS England and NHSX as it was, to really look at how we can tackle inequalities and the inequalities that could arise from introducing digital into health and care, and specifically from a system perspective. So over the years, I've been involved with, and I know Thrive by Design have been involved in a lot of work around looking at digital inclusion. And digital inclusion is an incredible thing. There's so many people across the country doing incredible work day in, day out, from within services right down to communities, and on a kind of one-to-one level as well, to really help people overcome some of the different factors that mean they are excluded digitally. But what we're trying to do with this is actually move the focus a little bit more upstream. So rather than just focusing on the fact that services are inherently designed to be exclusive, especially when digital is kind of introduced to them, there's an inherent exclusivity to that. Rather than relying on that just getting picked up by digital inclusion initiatives and programs and things like that at that end of the scale, what we want to do is really focus further upstream and work with the system to go, okay, how can we start from the very beginning and design inclusion into the work that we're commissioning, the work that we're kind of prioritizing. And we've been working with those 10 ICSs to understand what that actually looks like. So doing a bit of a self-assessment with them to understand where they're at now, off the back of some incredible research that we've been doing, and supported by one of our great associates, Helen Bradburn, to understand what is it what does inclusive digital transformation look like at a system level? What are the different factors? What are all the different ingredients that are needed? Getting them to assess themselves, and then using that assessment for us to be able to facilitate some targeted learning and support for them. So we've been running a learning program, looking at the different factors as well, and helping them understand some of the challenges that they're facing and others have faced as well, and what ways in which they can overcome those. And we're also working with them on a one-to-one level as well. So we've got some coaches lined up and kind of been pairing them up with some expert advice that they can go to and get some support and guidance on how to improve that at that level. And it's really about just starting this journey and really igniting this within the ICSs, helping them understand the value of this work and how they can start it and how they can continue to sustain that for the future. Really, this isn't a one-off project that we want to do. This is the kickstarting a long-term sustainable program of work that puts a real focus on inclusion at that very beginning. So yeah,
and I think we've felt that change in focus, and it's a really interesting, wide-reaching project. So we'll go on. The next thing I kind of want to talk about is, as a team, we're always adapting the work that we do. And I guess that's to be expected from an innovation team. And I know that one of the things that we want to hone in on is the inclusive element of co-design. So can you talk us through why inclusive co-design is so important, and with some of the work that we've been doing around it?
Yeah, of course. So we've been doing co-design for a number of years. And I know co-design is one of those kind of words that gets used a lot and gets kind of used alongside other phrases like co-production, co-creation, all that sort of stuff. But for us, co-design is really important. And our aim has always been to co-design inclusion into things. But what we're really trying to do now is actually shine a light on ourselves and go, actually, is our co-design approach inclusive in its nature? So one of our principles has been for a long time to design with people, not for them. And we've done that, and a lot of people do that, and you see it that co-design is often a bit of a thinly veiled term used to describe consultation. So going out and just getting people's thoughts and opinions and then squirreling away and kind of creating something in the background to be launched on the world. But we really want to challenge ourselves and hold ourselves accountable for going, are we really doing this inclusively? And that's not just the outcome of the projects that we're working on, but the actual approach that we're taking to make sure that that's inclusive. And we're trying to be quite intentional with it and really focus on that. And we're going to be working with West Yorkshire Health and Care Partnership actually to look at and co-design and inclusively co-design some inclusive co-design principles, which is a bit of a mouthful, but yeah, trying to understand what it needs to look like. What are some of the principles that we should be guiding our co-design work to make sure that inclusion is at the heart of that, as well as just the projects and the outcomes that we're working on.
Yeah, that's great. It's going to be exciting, certainly, to delve deeper into that. So earlier in the week, Ros shared the news that she is stepping down from being our managing director. She'll stay on part-time as an associate director, but we're delighted to share that Tim will be taking up the position of managing director. And this is news that's slowly creeping out. So firstly, let me congratulate you on your new role, but also ask you to just share some of your initial thoughts and feelings around that, and also to take us through the opportunities that presents.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Yeah, I'll be honest, I couldn't be happier. As I said at the beginning of this conversation, having known the organisation and the team for some years now and seen the ways in which it's grown and kind of had to iterate itself in our focus, but has always done that with a real clear mission at the core of what we do, a mission that I genuinely believe in and genuinely kind of try to live by, which is helping, using our expertise, using our skills and our knowledge and our opportunity and the privilege that we have in the place that we work and the opportunities we find ourselves in, to use that to genuinely help overcome inequality. And our focus at the minute is specifically on overcoming health inequality, using looking at opportunities where digital can play a part in that, and ensuring that we don't kind of bring digital into something that compounds existing inequalities as well. So having that mission really core to the work that we do is something that I'm really, really happy to be part of and be leading and supporting the team. And the team as well is an incredible team. We've got a really great mix of people and skills and personalities and experience that really helps us do the work we do. But the thing that unites us, I think, is our values that really sit at the core of all of us, that we're in this to help people and support people and bring people together to overcome those inequalities and that kind of disadvantage and the exclusion that exists in the world around us. So yeah, something I'm really, really excited about. And it's come at a really critical time, as we've just talked about the Digital Inequality Pioneers Programme being something that's going to really set up what the future looks like in some of the work that's going to be commissioned over the years coming. I think it's a really critical point for us to really push on and mature and grow now in this space and really kind of help push not just ourselves, but the trusts that we're working with, LYPFT being the trust that we're kind of hosted by, really working with them to kind of shine a light on this and push ourselves forward and really help push that kind of national agenda forward as well, which is something we're really keen to do.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be an exciting time. I think it's going to be great to have you at the helm, and also to keep Ros working alongside us, I think is great also.
Yeah.
So just thinking on that, in a year's time from now, what would good look like to you in terms of the progress that we've made?
Oh, it's a great question. I think more impact as much as anything. I know we kind of, that's how we like to measure ourselves and hold ourselves up against what actual impact it is that we're having. It's all well and good that we talk about the ways that we work, the kind of inclusive co-design and things like that, which is great and really important and what we need to be doing, but it's got to result in genuinely positive outcomes and impact that we can have across health and care. So I think we'll definitely be looking back in a year's time to go, okay, what impact have we had? What change have we been able to kind of support and kind of help to happen? I think specifically the idea around inclusive co-design and health inequalities is something that I'd really hope that in a year's time we can look back and we've been part of the solution to create a real solid evidence-based kind of practical kind of example case study based view of how this can happen and how it needs to continue to happen. So we're no longer talking about what inclusive co-design looks like at a system level, but we've actually got some genuinely great examples that we've supported to kind of show the way and encourage others to kind of make sure that they're on board with that and show them how practically they can do that. So yeah, I think in a year's time, looking back at our impact, but one of those being to shift from theoretically talking about this to be able to really point at some genuinely great examples of the work that has been done to embed inclusion at a system, as well as all the other work that we're doing at kind of local and service level too. Yeah,
and I think that as a team, we feel those steps. We feel that we're taking, those steps towards that. So just thinking there about impact, are there any projects coming up that you're particularly excited about?
We've got a few actually in the pipeline, some that we're working on already. So the Digital Health Inequalities Pioneers Project, we're definitely looking at what that means beyond this part of the project. It's a program that's going to kind of hopefully run beyond this year and what that could look like, and thinking about what that could look like at scale. So that's really interesting. And for us, the one thing that we don't want to do as a team is just kind of focus on one specific area. So as well as working at a system level and kind of influencing that and trying to really push that forward, we're continuing to work at kind of a local level and a service level. So we're working with Leeds and York Partnership Foundation Trust, our kind of host trust, to really push that locally as well. So thinking about what inclusive digital transformation looks to the trust. We're a mental health and learning disabilities trust, so we're focusing there. We're going to be working with 3 of the services really closely over the next few months to look at where introducing digital into their care pathways can help overcome inequalities, and really understand what the challenges are within that, because we're working with very diverse needs and kind of interests within that, and some of the challenge will be quite acute. Some of them will be great general problems and challenges that we can learn from and kind of share much wider across the trust and beyond. So yeah, there's a couple of really interesting ones, and The other one that springs to mind is Mindwell as well. As I mentioned at the very beginning of this conversation, I was kind of involved in the very first iteration and version of that back in 2015, 2016. And we're now at a point where we're starting to look at what the future of Mindwell looks like, how we can take it from a website with a bit of a supporting service around it to something that is a much more impactful service, with loads of different ways in which we can kind of expand that, not just locally, but nationally as well. So it's quite an exciting time for us over the next 12 months.
It sounds it. And interesting for me to hear some of them things that are on the horizon. It sounds like there's lots of work to be done. So thankfully, to help that, we do have a few new team members joining us soon. What skills are they bringing to the team that will support us in our work, support the core mission?
Yeah. So I'm sure it won't surprise you, but at the heart of this kind of latest round of recruitment is inclusion. So, like I say, we've worked in this area for a number of years, but we're also very aware that we'll never be the experts. Do you know what I mean? We're always going to be pushing to increase our understanding, our knowledge, our expertise. So, in the same vein as I mentioned earlier about kind of what's really core to us and why we want to kind of hold ourselves accountable, we've gone out with this latest round of recruitment and put inclusion in job titles and be really clear about what it is that we're trying to do, what sort of skills we want to bring into the team. So we've got two designers that are going to be joining the team. We've got inclusive co-designers. They're going to be working alongside myself and our incredible Deputy Director of CoDesign, Kirsten Blackwell, as well. So they're coming into the team to add their experience, their knowledge, their different ways of working, their different ways of approaching co-design. And it's really going to help push us forward, I think, and bring some much needed additional kind of capacity in the team, but also diverse ways of thinking, diverse ways of kind of approaching things. And very different levels of experience that they've got from their previous work as well. So yeah, really, really exciting to be welcoming them to the team, as well as a couple of other appointments that are going to be a part of the wider support for the team. So yeah, it's a really exciting time to be going into the next financial year with some really exciting projects and a team that's going to be kind of ready and waiting to kind of really push them forward.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, thanks, Tim. It certainly is going to be exciting. And yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting new colleagues also. So thanks for taking the time to chat with us today. And just finally, let's say if you're interested in finding out more about our team or our work, make sure you follow us on social media or join our Inclusive Digital Transformation Challenge workspace, which is on Future NHS. Thanks, Tim, and thanks for watching.